We can't imagine how that must have felt. But we know that all these things are to our benefit. Everything you register as a tragedy is in fact an open gap where something good can go through. And so it happened for her. She became independent-minded. She got all the values of her education, even the rebellious attitudes against Christian doctrinal straitjackets, if you will, which she rebelled against. Then, of course, during her teaching career, she had two tragedies. She fell in love with a Welshman. The Welshman died. Another one deserted her. I'm not saying a Welshman deserted her, but I'm not laying anything on the Welsh people. And so with this disturbed kind of mind, she started looking, seeking, and it was with this frame of mind that she met Swami Vivekananda. Of course, she was already well known when she met the Swami. She was well known in London circles. She was a prolific writer, contributed to magazines. And so her skill with the pen was already well known. Swami Vivekananda must have seen something special. In Dungannon, I don't really see as a starting point. There's a whole series of events. And if we study the Vedanta philosophy, we'll understand that life is a kind of play, a drama. Sri Ramakrishna gave us these two aspects of the non-dualistic philosophy, Nitya on the one side, Lila on the other. And if we take this life as a lila, as a game, we'll have a sporting, challenging attitude. We'll fly in the face of all these challenges. And this is the characteristic of youth and youthfulness. To be young at heart, to be young in body, to be young in mind, all of these characteristics and energies channeled into something that is useful. So while formal education equips us with skills and talents for our careers and for an opportunity to gain a place in our social environment, something more is necessary. Some character building is necessary. Some aspect which is necessary for good citizenship is necessary. Where to get these qualities from? We get them from our own life. And it is these tragedies, so-called, that become gems, treasures for us, because they make us stronger. And it is no accident that the very first chapter of the Srimad Bhagavad Gita tells us that we start our spiritual journey with despondency, depression, but we lift ourselves out of it. Passages from the Srimad Bhagavad Gita. Let him raise himself up by himself. Let him not drag himself down. So we raise ourselves up. What should youth learn? Raise yourself up. Raise yourself up by yourself. Don't be dependent on anybody. You alone are responsible for your own future. You are own responsible, according to the Vedanta philosophy, for your present condition also. So why will we change the world? We'll change the world and be a world mover, as Sister Nivedita was, by taking all our skills and talents, as she herself did, and turning them toward a spirit of service, a spirit of generosity for the good and welfare of whole mankind. She did it in a mere 44 years, turned all her talents, keeping Swami Vivekananda's inspiration behind at all times, understanding that the message was always on track, even though it seems not to have been. What was this message? Education. What was this message? Freedom. Freedom in every sense of the word. What was the message of Swami Vivekananda? Upliftment of women. And when we look at Sister Nivedita's life and view it in the framework of a game or a play, we have to go back to something she herself wrote in the Master as I Saw Him. And She wrote this: the temple of Dakshinaswara, she said, was built by the wealthy Rani Rasmai, a woman, she says, of the fisher person caste. And in the year 1853, Sri Ramakrishna took up residence there as one of the Brahmins attached to its service. These were facts, she says, which had impressed the mind of Vivekananda, even more deeply perhaps than he himself ever knew. Because, you see, as she points out, if there had been no Ramakrishna, there would have been no Vivekananda. If there were no Vivekananda, there would have been no Western message. If there had been no Western message, we would not be here today thinking about it. But that wasn't the beginning. The beginning was a fisherwoman was inspired to build a temple. Now, all the great Mahabharata, Bhagavad Gita derived from it, all the arrangement of the Upanishads, all the arrangement of the Vedas, the Bhagavatam, all of this penned and elaborated and propagated by Rishi Vyasa. Rishi Vyasa was the son of a fisherwoman. Look at this parallel. So a new age, could this be a new age, whereby the fisher-person connection comes in again and inspires generation after generation. So she continues with this. She says, a woman of the people had been, in a sense, the mother of that whole movement of which all the disciples of the Master formed parts. Humanly speaking, she says, without the temple of Dakshinaswara, there had been no Ramakrishna. Without Ramakrishna, no Vivekananda. And without Vivekananda, no Western mission. And the whole story rested on the building, erected on the Ganga side, a few miles above Calcutta, just before the middle of the 19th century. And that was the outcome of the devotion of a rich woman of the lower castes, a thing that under a purely Hindu government, she writes, bound to the maintenance of Brahmin supremacy, could never have been possible, as the Swami himself was not slow to point out. From this is inferred the importance of non-cognizance of caste by centralized governments in India. What a wonderful, revolutionary way of talking, and how profound. And so, what should youth do? There are three things which we can describe as 3 F's. Faith. We have great examples of faith in youth in the literature. We have the Nachiketa of the Kathopanishad. We have that Nachiketa defying death. We have the example of Dhruva. We have the example of Prahlada. All of these great examples are there, which tell us that we should have faith. Faith in what? Faith in ourselves, primarily. What do we mean by faith in ourselves? Faith in ourselves in death.